All right, so today we're diving deep into mobile maintenance, specifically focusing on the food and beverage industry.
Really looking at how companies are using digital tools to transform how they keep their plants running.
And not just running, but running smoothly, efficiently, and probably most importantly, safely.
Yeah. Food safety is a huge deal, of course,
Huge.
but also cost control, worker safety.
Absolutely.
All those things are top of mind for food and beverage manufacturers.
And we've got some really interesting case studies to dig into today, all from companies that have successfully used,
Sigga Solutions.
yes, Sigga solutions to really shake up their approach to maintenance.
It's pretty amazing to see how these companies are taking these industry challenges, right? The ones we all know about,
Yeah,
and actually using those challenges to springboard innovation.
interesting.
We're talking about a sector that's already under so much pressure to perform.
Right, so let's paint a picture for our listeners.
Sure.
What's the current landscape like for these food and beverage manufacturers? What are they up against?
Well, the pandemic really accelerated the need for automation in the food and beverage industry.
We saw that across the board, really.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that's led to this huge demand for skilled workers who can manage these.
Increasingly complex.
Yeah, really sophisticated
It's like a
systems.
catch-22, right?
Yeah.
You need automation to address staffing shortages,
Exactly.
but then you need skilled staff to implement and manage the automation.
Exactly. And on top of all that, you've got new regulations and safety protocols that have come out of the pandemic.
And the ever-present need to control costs to boost efficiency.
Right. These companies are juggling a lot.
They really are. And what's interesting is they're getting creative about it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We see in our source material here, for example, 42% of companies are expanding in-house technical training programs.
Wow, that's a big jump.
That's huge.
It really shows that companies are realizing they need to invest in their workforce just as much as they invest in
Like technology.
the technology itself. Yeah.
Because having skilled technicians is really essential to getting the most out of these digital tools.
Absolutely. You can have the fanciest tech in the world, but if you don't have people who know how to use it,
Right.
you're not going to see those returns.
And it's not just about training.
Right.
There's also this massive push toward, ditching those old paper records.
Yeah, those dusty filing cabinets
Exactly, and going digital.
going paperless.
Yeah, I think it was over half of the companies surveyed in our material said that going paperless was a top priority.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Paper-based systems are just,
So slow.
they're slow, they're prone to errors.
You can't get a clear picture.
You can't see what's happening in real time.
It's like trying to navigate a maze in the dark.
Yeah.
Right? But with digital systems, you have instant access to data, you can spot trends, you can identify those potential problems before they become major issues.
Right, you're moving from reactive to proactive. Instead of waiting for something to break down, you're anticipating issues.
And you're addressing them before they impact production.
Exactly.
So we've got these companies facing this pressure to automate, to find these skilled workers, to ditch the paper.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Let's dive into those success stories we talked about. Let's see how they actually tackle these challenges head on.
Great.
And we'll start with a bottling plant. And this bottling plant is actually part of a global beverage giant.
Okay, big operation.
Talk about pressure to perform.
Right.
These guys are producing millions of beverages every single day.
Yeah, those production lines can't stop.
They cannot stop.
And guess what? They started out with paper-based processes.
I was going to say, I bet they started out with paper.
Yeah, it was a logistical nightmare.
I can only imagine.
Work orders, maintenance logs, inventory records, everything was on paper. It was a constant struggle just to keep track of everything.
I bet. And did they try to, maybe develop their own mobile solution?
They actually did. They tried to create an in-house solution, but it just didn't really meet their needs.
Yeah, and that's a common pitfall, right?
Yeah.
Developing custom software.
Oh, yeah.
It can be so expensive and time-consuming, and it often just misses the mark when you're trying to address the specific needs of...
Of a really complex operation like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So they realized they needed a solution that was ready to go, something proven that would integrate with their existing systems.
And that's where Sigga comes in.
Exactly.
They decided to implement Sigga's mobile EAM solution, and that's when things really started to change.
Yeah, suddenly technicians were receiving work orders digitally, right on their mobile devices. They had instant access to equipment history, manuals, even checklists, all in one place.
So no more paper.
No more paper. It completely streamlined the entire workflow.
I bet the supervisors were happy too.
Oh, absolutely. No more mountains of paperwork for them to sift through. They could approve hours and materials online. They could track the technician's progress in real time. And they had this much clearer picture of the overall maintenance performance.
And what about efficiency? Was there an impact there?
Yeah, they saw a significant reduction in their mean time to repair, the MTTR.
The MTTR, that's a critical metric in maintenance, right? It measures how long it takes to fix a piece of equipment
Yeah.
once a problem is identified.
Exactly. And by reducing their MTTR, they were able to get equipment up and running faster, which minimizes downtime and keeps those production lines moving.
Which, of course, maximizes production.
Right.
I read that they had a 15% boost in technician productivity. That's huge.
Which is a big improvement.
And it shows how a well-chosen digital solution can really have that ripple effect across the entire operation.
It empowers workers, streamlines those processes, and ultimately leads to better outcomes.
It's a great story, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah, we've got 2 more to go.
We get 2 more to go. Are you ready for success story number 2?
I am. Bring it on. Okay, so this next story takes us inside a multinational company, and they're really a key player in the food industry.
Okay.
They provide a ton of ingredients.
Ingredients, okay.
Think starches, sugars, those building blocks that go into a lot of the products that we use every day.
Okay, got it. So another big company, complex operations, I imagine they had their own set of challenges.
They did. One of the biggest hurdles they faced was just this really ingrained break-fix culture.
Break-fix, okay.
Maintenance was mainly reactive, so they were fixing things when they broke down rather than taking a proactive approach.
I can see how that would lead to, a lot of firefighting, unpredictable downtime.
Oh, absolutely.
Did they have any systems in place to manage that?
They were using SAP,
Okay.
but each plant had its own separate system with different data structures.
Also, it was decentralized.
Yeah, and that made it really hard to analyze trends or get a clear picture of, how maintenance was performing across the whole company.
So even with SAP in place, they were still struggling with data silos and a lack of visibility.
Exactly.
Sounds like they needed a solution that could unify their data and help them shift to that preventative maintenance strategy.
Right, and they found that solution with 2 offerings from Sigga.
Okay.
The planning and scheduling solution
Okay.
and the mobile EMM solution.
Got it. So a two-pronged approach. That makes sense.
Yeah, it really was key to their transformation.
So they brought in Sigga to help them tackle both the planning side and the execution side of maintenance.
Yeah.
How did the planning and scheduling solution help them move away from that reactive mindset?
Well, first of all, it gave them a centralized platform to manage all their maintenance data. So they suddenly had this unified view of all their assets, no matter where they were located.
Okay, so no more data silos
No more data silos.
and a much clearer picture of the big picture.
Exactly, and that was huge for standardizing their processes and gaining insights into equipment performance across the whole company.
So I'm betting the maintenance managers were pretty happy about this.
Oh, for sure.
But it goes deeper than that, right?
It does. It also allowed them to take this data-driven approach to planning those preventative maintenance tasks.
Okay, so how did that work?
So they were able to analyze historical data, identify trends, and then schedule maintenance activities based on actual equipment usage, rather than relying on guesswork or arbitrary timelines.
So they could anticipate problems and address them before they impacted production.
Exactly.
Did they actually see measurable results from this shift?
Oh, yeah. Big time. Their scheduling process used to take 1 to 2 days,
Wow.
and they were able to cut it down to just 2 hours.
That's incredible.
So you can imagine the time savings.
The agility.
Yeah, and they were able to move from 80% reactive maintenance to aiming for 80% planned maintenance.
Wow, a complete reversal.
Yeah, pretty impressive, right?
Yeah, it's really a testament to the power of having the right data.
And the tools to analyze it.
Exactly. But let's not forget about the technicians, the folks on the ground. How did the mobile EAM solution play into this?
Well, the mobile EAM solution was really critical for empowering those technicians and making sure that the plans they created in the planning and scheduling system were actually carried out in the field. One of the big pain points they had before was just this cumbersome process of filing notifications.
Okay.
They'd have to go queue up at a single computer in the maintenance office.
Oof, that's so inefficient.
Super inefficient, so even just reporting an issue was eating up all this time.
Yeah, I can see how that would be frustrating.
But with the mobile EAM solution, all that changed. They could use their mobile devices to instantly create notifications. They could add photos, audio notes, all the details.
Wow, so they had all the information they needed right in their pocket.
Exactly. And because the data was being captured in real time, the planners could respond much faster, make more informed decisions.
It's a win-win for both the technicians and the planners.
Right. Plus, all this data was flowing right into their central SAP system.
So consistency and accuracy across the board.
Exactly.
So it sounds like they saved time, improved efficiency. What about the company as a whole? Did they see any bottom line benefits?
Oh, yeah, they saw a significant reduction in equipment downtime, which means increased production. They also realized some big cost savings by optimizing their maintenance activities, reducing waste, and, just minimizing those emergency repairs.
Those can be expensive.
Oh, they definitely can be.
But I'm also curious about the cultural shift, right? Because it's one thing to implement new technology. It's another thing to change how people think and work.
It is.
So how did these Sigga solutions help them cultivate a more proactive, data-driven maintenance culture?
Well, a big part of it was the increased visibility and accountability that the system provided.
Right.
So technicians felt more empowered and engaged because they actually had the information they needed to do their jobs effectively.
Yeah.
Planners could make better decisions. They could track progress in real time.
And management had that clear view of performance.
Exactly. So they could see where they needed to improve.
It wasn't just about the technology itself. It was about how the technology facilitated communication, collaboration, and a shared sense of ownership.
Yeah, it was really about the people.
And that cultural shift was a big part of their success, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
It's a great illustration of how the right digital tools can not only improve efficiency, but really transform how a company approaches maintenance.
For sure.
Ready for our final success story?
Let's do it. Yeah, it's pretty inspiring to see what they were able to achieve.
It really is. Going from spreadsheets and manual data entry to a fully digital system.
Yeah, and they were a big company too.
Huge. It's amazing how much they were able to accomplish by shifting to that digital, data-driven approach to maintenance.
And, what's really interesting is that it wasn't just a one-off.
Right.
All three companies, all these great results, they all achieved this with the help of Sigga solutions.
It makes you think, what is it about Sigga
Mm.
that makes them stand out in this space?
Well, Sigga's been around for a while. They're a global software company with over 20 years of experience.
Wow, 20 years.
Yeah, and they've been helping these asset-intensive corporations, the ones with complex operations,
Yeah.
navigate all those complexities of digital transformation. And they've really found a niche for themselves in the food and beverage industry,
Interesting.
specifically working with companies that use SAP.
So they're not just a software company, they're specialists.
They are. They really understand the ins and outs of this industry and how it intersects with technology.
It's a powerful combination.
It is, and their expertise really shows in their solutions. You mentioned Sigga's mobile EAM earlier.
Yeah, it was a game changer for those technicians.
It was. It takes all those essential SAP plant maintenance tasks like work orders, notifications, data capture, and it puts it all right in the hands of the technicians through their mobile devices.
Makes their job so much easier.
Yeah. No more running back and forth to the office for paperwork, no more delays and reporting issues. It's just instant access to everything they need.
Right at your fingertips.
Exactly. And then there's Sigga's planning and scheduling solution. That's like the brain, the mission control for all the maintenance operations.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So it gives planners the ability to automate and optimize so many things like capacity checking, resource allocation, even work order prioritization, and real-time tracking.
Wow, so they're not just digitizing tasks, they're giving companies this whole toolkit to plan, execute, and analyze their maintenance activities.
With a level of precision that you just couldn't get with the old ways of doing things.
And I imagine that level of efficiency has a real impact on the bottom line.
Oh, absolutely.
It's clear that this kind of digital transformation in maintenance, it's not a luxury anymore. It's really a necessity for companies that want to stay competitive.
It is, and these stories we've talked about today, they really highlight that it's not about technology for the sake of technology.
Okay.
It's about using technology in a smart way to empower people, to make those processes smoother, and to drive those better outcomes.
So if you're listening to this and you're feeling inspired by these companies, by what they've achieved, if you're thinking, hey, maybe we could do this too,
You definitely can.
and you're looking for a partner to help you on that journey,
I definitely recommend checking out Sigga and all the solutions they offer.
they've proven time and time again that they can help companies achieve real maintenance excellence.
Absolutely.
So to learn more about Sigga and their solutions, you can visit their website at sigga.com.
It's a great resource for anyone who wants to dive deeper into this whole world of mobile maintenance transformation.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.